This is a journey into sound. A journey which along the way will bring to you new color, new dimension, new values, and a new experience. Stereophonic sound.
This is Immersed, the podcast and book. We are delighted to have you join us. Immersed is produced by Charlie Morrow, Sean McCann, and Bart Plantinga for Morrow Sound, Vermont, and Helsinki, and Recital Edition, Los Angeles. Immersed.
Speaker phasing test.
Here we have a stereo warbling tone that if your speakers or anything in the signal path is out of phase, will cancel each other out.
I'm Charlie Morrow, and my Immerse podcast will guide you through the world of immersive experience in sound, light, and space. Welcome.
If the loudspeaker units are correctly polarized, it will commence between the loudspeakers and finish up in the room. If you hear the noise moving each time in the opposite direction, the loudspeakers are wrongly polarized.
Stand by. All right, the tape is rolling now. Anytime you're ready. This is
Immerse.
Our guest today is Harri Koskinen, a man of many talents, born in 1970 in Karstula, Finland, in the Central Finland countryside. Harri came to Helsinki City to study design in the Institute of Art and Design. He's best known as a leading innovator of Nordic design for, among other things, his award-winning block lamp, the famous light bulb inside a rectangular brick of glass, which is exhibited in New York's Museum of Modern Art. He's designed furniture, packaging, pots and pans, turntables, hotel rooms, and many other immersive spaces. But most importantly for us here at Immerse, the Genelec 8000 series of speakers for cutting-edge sound systems. Soon to be released, Genelec headphones. I met Harri in New York City in the first years of this century. He had designed a traveling show of Finnish design and engineered the installations. Typical of Nordic society, Finnish designers have worked together for decades to build on their shared values of several generations. Similarly, Finnish architects and orchestra conductors generate a wave of multi-generational forces. Later, Harri made a home for a Morrow Sound 3D showroom system in his Helsinki design company offices. We've collaborated on the show Sound Glass Space 2012 in the Aquasmatic Gallery in Helsinki, and on a floating chair for listening to 3D sound. Harri's design includes sound, light, and physical materials. How fitting that he named his company Friends of Industry Limited. Harri, welcome to Immerse.
Okay, now the batteries are running well.
Excellent. Nice to see you. I mean, in Finland, I feel very good. It's a great environment.
Yeah, that's good.
How's your daughter?
Hedda is running wild. She's she's now 3 and full of energy, like laughing and walking and running and trying to make fun of everything. So, and she's a fan of ABBA. So Mamma Mia she can sing that quite well already. And
Oh, that's fantastic.
yeah, and we were in Sweden last week with Hedda, and we were actually accommodating in ABBA's Venice hotel, Il Hotel Rival, and it was so funny that Hedda sang Mamma Mia there in the lobby, and it was a full immersive experience.
Sounds fantastic. Wow. Do you remember your own first immersive experience?
Yeah, since I spent my first 20 years in Karstula community, and our farmhouse, it was like a 16 kilometer from the community center, so really in the middle of the forest. And yeah, need to say that like in daily basis, when opening the front door, the wildlife was there already, and I think it was like a full-time, very immersive to stay outdoor and go to the forest and to play the games there, and listening the woodpecker sing there, and the raven flying high from west to east, and then the wood grouse having, yeah, it was very, very full all the time, and it was also so natural and so obvious that on that time it was just like normal living and life. And now when settling down here in Helsinki and Espoo, it's totally different now, the lifestyle. So when you're opening the front door, you see the traffic and you see the life in different perspective.
Well, I know what you mean, because our home in Vermont is like your Karstula. You know, we have a bear in the woods behind us. We have 18 acres, which is mostly woods, except for some small fields. And it's several kilometers from town. There's a store and a restaurant maybe 2 kilometers away. Across the street, there's a community of cows, because that's a big cow farm. So my archivist who takes care of the place, he always says, "Oh, this morning I saw the girls," referring to all the cows out in the field. So the girls are always out in the field. We too have the cycle of the year, and in the countryside, there's different sounds for every season.
Yeah, like a small nice memories on the summertime when picking some fresh milk from the neighbor with this tin can and bicycling there. So the sound from the can, like knocking the bicycle, you try to really like drive smoothly, but then with the milk, it was like it was such an experience in the very bumpy sand road, and we had a distance like 1 kilometer to the cow farm.
Well, it's lovely to hear that. I can totally relate to it. So jumping from that beginning to what you're doing in your life now, which is designing things, how did you go from one to the other? How did the world change for you as you came from Karstula to today?
It's been, of course, like a long process and like a day by day adventure. And the adventure you will see when you are like monitoring your life from today to the past. So when you are living like a full life, you don't monitor yourself on that sense in a way. So you understand and get things afterwards. But I was very lucky to live in this farmhouse, and also my uncle lived in the same building, so I was joining him to the summer work. So we built log houses, the cottages on the summer times. I spent like 3 summers with him. So we started from the pile of logs, and then we built the house or the cottage, and like a 3-month hard work, full summer, 8 or 9 hours in a building site, and then the freedom started had to run to the tennis court, what was in a distance of the 3 kilometer, and to meet friends and then to swim. But I think that also having the wood workshop in our yard house, building and doing things all the time, repairing bicycles and mopeds and such, and doing everything by yourself in a way, and learning from the older brother and learning from the uncle and learning from the father. That was like a very normal life, and I think it really gave like a nice keys for today as well. So I've been always very curious of things, how things are working and why is that. And after the high school, I decided to go and study something what was not familiar for me in a way. So I went to the Lahti Design School, and there we started to learn how to sketch and design things, and after that you build them, not like you are just doing everything at once in a way, that you need to somehow program yourself, and that was like a nice education in Lahti school. And then after Lahti, the studies at the University of Art and Design of Helsinki, that was even more conceptual and more abstract, but I still kept going to the workshops. We had a great facilities there with wood and with metal and such, and open access to the materials. So that was very integral part for me. Same time doing things by hand, but also thinking more conceptually and learning by doing. That was the method, like active life. From very micro living then to the macro living in a way, that I think I had my first travel abroad when I was in age of 19 years old, and we went with my sister to see how is life in Turkey.
Oh, what a change.
Yeah. That was also like an eye-opening thing in a way to have this trip, but then started this work, this like a student life with all kind of excuses and like trips to see things, and then in this work life a lot of travels to see colleagues and clients and factories and such. So it's been like that.
Well, I hear you. Thank you for telling the story. One can imagine it as you told it. You also have had fun with music in your life. Maybe you could talk a little bit about your music.
Yeah, the music has been always very fascinating and has been creating like a new worlds and new imagination in my mind all the time. So I'm really like transferred somewhere when I enjoy listening something great. It's somehow abstract for me in a good way. I really got into music.
Think now of a record.
In LA.
By exploring my older sisters and brothers' vinyls, and they were also very keen of music, so they imported music from abroad, and we got like a first pressing of the Grace Jones vinyls and Neil Young's, and then I got my first bass when I was age of 12, so I got it from the Santa Claus, and it was like a big package, and that's my sister's gift for me.
Lovely.
And that bass was huge on my hand, and then luckily also my sister put it to the one guy who started to teach me a bit how to play the bass, and that opened again like a new world in a way, so that I could imitate some tracks and to learn music. And then we also had a band in elementary school. Yeah, and then we played some evergreens, like more like on the heavy music side. So mainly I think we played AC/DC. This was great, and it's still great.
So great. Yes.
We have reunioned, so we once a year we get together and we still play the same same songs, and we enjoy this simpleness in a way, and we continue where we left the Karstula on those days. But then it's been like always very into music, but never studied any better. So the design and visuals somehow took me more ahead, but been collecting music all the time and trying to expand my taste very keen on everything new. And then my work life, when establishing my design studio, and actually before that, I was very happy to meet Ilpo Martikainen, who was the founder of Genelec company based in Iisalmi. And we had a very nice one day in the Iisalmi factory. It was, I think, 1998 already. And somehow he was also very keen on my ideas and visions as a very young designer. And I started to learn how to do things from the material in real for the industry. So we had a very open discussion and ideation that what is the sound production and how to really create this like a standard of the sound and what kind of limitations we are having when building sound source and cabinets and speakers. And that also opened me like a new world. I was very keen of already collecting some audio devices on that time, and this Genelec really opened my archive in a way also, and I was very happy to start to work with them since 1998, and we are still working like a weekly basis with the company, and it's been great journey with them. And we had very practical dilemma on that time, or actually Ilpo had, since I think he established Genelec already 1968 or 9, and doing like many speakers and very complex entities and solutions, but sort of idea of the speaker and how to really make the difference from the competitors, since they were having the excellence of the sound production and the engineering, but then how is this like visual performance and the outlook of the speaker. So he was never satisfied of that, and we started to explore the possibilities in a die-cast aluminium that how we can create like a new world of the speakers in a way, and then we managed to do it, and here we are still today, following the same path and like ideas, but still everything is based on that specific day when we met with Ilpo and we started to have this conversation.
That's a fantastic story. I met Ilpo before you did.
Yeah, right.
Remember, I was in Helsinki visiting the radio years ago. At that time, I was doing experimental radio programs. And I was sharing my sound archive and sounds that I made with folkloric instruments in the radio lab, and they gave me radio sounds of ice that the radio had collected, which I still use in my work. And I met Martikainen. He was there. He had just sold his square passive speakers
right
to the radio lab, and there was I think it was trying to remember the person who was Pekka Siren, and was there, and I would like you to meet Ilpo. He's from out east. He's a speaker maker. He's been making these speakers himself, and they sound great. And I just said hello to him. That was the first time we met. It was my first trip to Finland. Later on, I met him when I was in Rome. I was doing another co-production with the Italian state radio, doing public event broadcast, and I met him. He was working at that time with the Vatican radio. I think that was one of his first clients as well, to the Vatican radio. So we met early on in our careers, and then later on he took an interest in the 3D sound that I developed and supported that. Big show in the early 2000s in New York called New Music New York, and we had a Morrow Sound Cube on 2 scales. We stayed in touch. I was very sorry when he died young. He was a wonderful man.
But it's been also a pleasure to follow your collaboration with Genelec through the years, and always been great to see and understand that how they are supporting everything new. They are very curious of what is happening around, and always seeking like new opportunities.
Yes, absolutely.
And some memories from the early days with Genelec. Yeah, it was 1998 when I first met Ilpo, and we right away we started to ideate this like a different creation of the of the speaker or the monitor, how to have it. And also at the same time, since they were so deep into this professional monitoring and it's like a home audio, it was sort of teasing them in a way that maybe there's some, since quite many individuals already do have Genelec at home, but they never meant to have anything specific for the residential market. And that was also like one ball given to me at the same time. And then I got a call from Issi Miyake studio from Japan, 1999, and then they sent me an invitation to me to come to have a show in Tokyo in year 2000. And I told that also to Ilpo that, hey, now we have an opportunity maybe to create something spectacular, unseen. And then he really got excited that, hey, now we need to run for that. And let's do a creation. And then we started to work for this show. We made this like a die-cast monolith speaker, 6040A model, which is still in production. We had like a 1 year development time, but still not enough to build a real model. But we had 2 prototypes there in the show, and everything was great in Iisalmi when we tested it. And then Ilpo was so excited that he also traveled to Japan for the openings. In Tokyo, when we had this like opening day, the speakers didn't cooperate.
Oh.
Something happened on the way from Iisalmi to Tokyo. But luckily the exhibition, one big space and the back wall, that was like a solid curtain in a way. So we had to build like a setting in a way that the speakers were active behind of the curtain, and we had a sort of like a prototype standing in the front of the curtain, and that was like mimicking the sound of Genelec then through the curtain. But luckily I had also like many other pieces there shown, like I created a modern living room there with a sofa bed and shelf systems, and we had the soundscape there available, although the speakers didn't work.
Wow. Was it the difference of electric power?
Maybe that was killing them.
This is what you could call audio fiction.
Yeah, nice stories.
Yeah, I have a few as well about things not working. I'll just jump to a story of mine. I used a very early model of a solid-state amplifier for a bass player when I was giving a lecture at a university many years ago. And for whatever reason, that particular bass had so much energy that this amplifier in a black box with grill on the top caught fire, and there were flames coming out of it. And everybody said, "What a fantastic show." And I was thinking, my $2,000 toy has been fried. Those early ones were quite unstable. And
yeah, but it's great to have the Genelec speakers. You can play bass very well through them, and you don't need to have like a stack of Marshalls on the corner anymore, so you can play through your audio system.
Well, they are really robust. I think Ilpo's standards are really famous. I mean, you being part of the design team, say sort of a Mercedes-Benz or BMW of speakers, a standard that really didn't exist before. You know, for the full line of speakers, I mean, it's scaled from small to large, and all of them are quite robust.
Yeah, I don't know, have you seen, we just published new headphones for Genelec?
No.
I just had a first pair. They are just getting available this spring. So they are meant for the sound reproduction in the studios. So they are not portable Bluetooth at all. As you can guess, Genelec world is like that. No gimmicks.
So they're hardwired. They're not a wireless.
Not wireless, no.
I should love to hear on them, because it would be very interesting.
Having already got very, very nice results from the crowd, and we are also developing them all the time further on. So again, like a standard solution in a way that we can fix all the time better and better.
Do they also plan a version for noise reduction, a traveler's version, so to speak?
That might come in a couple of years. They are not yet in agenda, but maybe in coming years.
all Genelec speakers are handmade in Finland.
I think the headphone itself is a great idea because it will be a standard. People really don't have a standard. They have a favorite, but not a standard for doing studio work with headphones. And a lot of people these days need headphones because the entire studio is a laptop. I met a group from Florida who put together millions of dollars to develop a high-end headphone, which is coming to market around the same time as the Genelec. I'm sure I'll find out more about it for you, and it'd be interesting to somebody who had been in another part of the audio business but dreamed his whole life of making a perfect headphone with price not being an issue. And I was talking to them because they needed some high-end demo material that showed off the way the speaker sounded. And they could take things from records and so forth, but then they wanted something that was more like soundscapes, and that's how I met them. Demo soundscape as they bring the headphone to market. I'd like to change the subject to glass, because I think that glass is, as you have handled it, is what everyone would always imagine that glass would be, a kind of a medium like painting or a novel. It's part of so many people's lives in so many forms, but glass tells so many stories, and I think you are a storyteller in all of your designs, and particularly your work in glass. Would you speak a little about that? I should point out that to our audience that Harri works as an artist as well as a designer, so that these different ideas find their way into unique artworks that are in galleries as well as in design objects that are in development and taken to market. But please talk a little bit about your view of glass.
Yes, thanks for asking. Glass has been somehow very close to me many years. When getting more into this design world, this Finnish design history is quite wide, but some of the masterpieces are made from glass, and it's fascinated me like many years, even before getting into this field. When for example, in Karstula, the world was so different all the time. We had this like a hardware store, the only one in the community. But then in the middle of the hardware store, there was like some shelves full of this like Iittala glass, also unique glasses, but also this like mass-produced ones. And I spent some time in the front of the shelf, and they were like diamonds there in the middle of the hardware store. But then, when getting into school and having a chance to study materials, I also took glass as one of my material, and I started to right away do the glass by myself in a hot workshop in my skills, what I had on the time, and I learned a bit. And then we had some joint venture course with Iittala brand when studying in university, and I was the one who was then picked to the factory for the scholarship. And then I had the opportunity to study glass and the possibilities more deeply. That was 1996, and the location was in Nuutajärvi Glassworks on that time. Like all the time, being very interested about many possibilities of the glass, how it is like a jewel in your hand in everyday use, but also like an immateriality of it in a way. When living inside and taking a look to outside, you have the window glass there in between, and it's like protecting you from the outdoor. And it's fragile, it's sturdy, but it's also fragile, and it's like a miracle among of the materials what we can treat and use and manufacture. But through the years, I've been lucky to be inside of the glassworks to learn the production methods, creating some concepts for the use and also concepts for the exhibitions. And it has limitations, of course, a lot. And I think that also is one of the key why it is that interesting, at least from the perspective of the industrial designer as I am. The limitations are really evoking the questions in your head in a way, and that is like a problem solving, that what all you can create from the glass, and the transparentness and also the solidness of the glass and the opaqueness and many aspects on the material and the layers inside of the glass and the inner living and everything. I have been having already 4 private like a unique art exhibitions, and they have been mainly made after the glass, the pieces. There are also some mixed material, and I'm again like end of this year heading to have my 5th show in Gallery Forsblom this autumn, and I think my main material is again glass, since that the glass is, I think that really gives a possibility to express your concepts and your thoughts.
I'm curious, when you are working with your vision of an artwork and working with the glass, how does that process work? When one sees the pieces, they are micro worlds. The glass itself has a shape, and inside there's this world of color and shape, because so much can be done with the glass. How do you, as a maker, start with that and wind up where you go?
Yeah, I've been always like a jealous for the glass blowers themselves. I never learned the excellence of doing and producing the glass by myself, like from the start to the end. So that's always like a collaboration with the glass blowers and the professionals in the glass industry when creating things in real. It's like also like unpredictable in a way that I cannot figure out things too advanced in a way that there's always has to be like a space for like some failures, and the failures are not compromises, they are part of the process, and the failures doesn't mean that there's nothing negative aspect on that. They are part of the process, and that's great in a way, and that's part of the limitations of the material and the production. But yes, I think since it's not only the concept you are like transmitting, it's the whole thing in a way, the existence of the object in a way, when it's like shining, reflecting the light, like a lens affects how it transforms the surrounding and how it mirrors the environment. And I think it's so like layered also in visual context, but also this like it's very thoughtful in a way. And it's a bit like a pity that also the artwork is pretty often looked as how does it look in a way. But when I do have a chance to create something from glass, for example, the concept is much more important than the outlook of the object.
Well, I've had the unique experience of having shared your studio for a number of years. And I think being with your objects, starting with the glass objects and the Genelec, both of them have a kind of living creation for me. My particular form of music and events and stuff is very shamanistic. And so for me, your object making is making objects that have some life, and I was wondering if you could speak a little bit about that.
It's like aesthetics in this work. It's a bit like a hidden value in a way. Of course, when I started to study this field, it was when knowing nothing on this field, I thought that it's about the shapes and it's about the outlook or like outline of the things. But when more deep into this world, it's like the shape giving is only like a very minimal aspect of the process of creating new things. I've been always now searching this like a functional aspects on everything what I do. I love when things do have like a many functions or like many interpretations in their existence, and it's like it's a bit difficult maybe to explain. Of course, when working with clients, the clients also set their values and set their guidelines in the like end result. But my role when working with industrial clients, my role is to keep the great concept there, and like a many interpretation level has to be there, and also the like a hidden aesthetics has to follow in everything what we do, and hopefully the end result is also like evoking positive thoughts and many explanations in a way that each people touching or feeling or using the objects what I've been creating, that they have the like their own understanding of the object.
Oh, that's quite beautiful. I think that this has been a perfectly shaped conversation, and I think we'll take our leave at this point for this show. I'd like to come back and talk to you another time about the work that you do for furniture design, design of spaces, and all the million things you're working on, watches and so forth. But I think for this particular discussion, I want to thank you so much for sharing your time. I know you're a busy person and sharing your thoughts. I appreciate you very much. So thank you, Harri.
Thank you, Charlie, and let's have a nice cup of tea when you are around. So see you soon.
See
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
There he is. Let's just take a moment and watch.
Thank you. This is Immerse, the podcast and book. We are delighted to have you join us. Immerse is produced by Charlie Morrow, Sean McCann, and Bart Plantenga for Morrow Sound, Vermont and Helsinki, and Recital Edition, Los Angeles.
Immerse. Immerse. Immerse.
Immerse. Immerse. Immerse. Immerse. Immerse. Immerse. Immerse. Immerse. Immerse. Immerse. Immerse.
An empty shell to fall back into the sea.